Hi there guys, Samsung Galaxy Unpacked is coming soon, this month. I forget the day, but I will put here in words what day it's coming. But because that is coming soon, I thought I'd talk about the S24 Ultra and basically the rumours and design looks that have been floating around the internet for a little while now. And we're going to see what people are expecting, what I'm expecting, and why it's probably worth it actually now upgrading to this, because personally I am here recording now on the S22 Ultra. Fantastic phone, I love it. I've never seen the point of going to the S23 Ultra, too similar, but now I believe it's worth going to the S24 Ultra because there is more of a difference, and that's the key thing. These iterative updates can be annoying, but just to compare, I'll start listing out some of these expected, rumoured specs and whatnot of the S24 Ultra, and I'll also throw in my S22 Ultra specs so you can see, as much as I have, what the differences can be. So with the S24 Ultra now coming, the CPU is expected to be Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy, I believe, the overclocked version of theirs, which is fantastic. I'm excited for that. Now my S22 Ultra, when it came out, was split. European and UK model had the Exynos 2200 CPU, which is what I'm running, or the American and whatever had the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Everyday difference to me, nothing. Both run sweet, so mine's still running absolutely fast and fluid now. No major difference. But at least the S24 Ultra now is more of a iterative update, so it's going to be nice and speedy. The display itself now, screen size is going to be the same at 6.8 inch Quad HD, 120 Hertz. But the difference is going to be on the S24 Ultra. It's now LTPO, I believe, and the brightness now peaks at 2,600 nits. I do have notes over here, by the way. 2,600 nits, whereas mine peaked at 1,750 nits. Now, that big difference, you'll tell if you had them side by side. However, 1,750 nits has still been fine, so it's not a major thing. Everyday usage, I pump this phone up to full brightness in the sun, I can see it perfectly. Video, text, whatever. But you're just going to see that 2,600 nits even more better on the newer S24 range. The cameras is where it's at for me, because obviously, as you can tell, I'm using them. I like recording and taking pictures. It's a bit of a mixed bag for me, but the main camera is still at least a good one. So I believe the S23 Ultra came out with a 200 megapixel, and the S24 Ultra now keeps that 200 megapixel main camera. The ultra wides are similar at 12 megapixel ultra wide. The 3X are both 10 megapixels on the back, so you know the S22 and S24 both have the same there. The telephoto longer one, so my 10X versus the rumored 5X on the S24 Ultra, it's going to be a big difference. So my 10X is a 10 megapixel, and it's fine. Everyone's done the moonshot on the Ultras. Whoever's owned an Ultra has tried a moonshot and probably got a nice little shot. Why not? But even though they upped the megapixel count for the S24 Ultra, they've downed the telephoto range from 10X to 5X. So it's a bit of a... Me personally, I would love to see the 10X kept and the megapixel just put up a bit. Maybe not the full 50, maybe 25, whatever. But they've given and taken there. It's a weird one. But hopefully that still equates to a really nice shot in the end, because it's not just going to cap out at 5X. You know, they're probably still going to have their 100X space zoom, as they're calling it, I believe. It's just going to be done on the back of a higher megapixel camera. So that should equate to a final better quality image versus my S22 Ultra at 100X. So we'll see. But the rumor is it's meant to be better. And then my 40 megapixel selfie, if I have that correct, is 40 megapixel. It's down to a 12 megapixel selfie on the S24 Ultra. So again, that's weird. But I believe with the new AI they're bringing out, the new processing and all that, it should equate to a very, very nice final shot. Probably better than my phone right now. Not that my phone's bad. My cameras are all capable and do some great shots. The RAM is a little bit different too. I believe, rumoured, the S24 Ultra variants are just going to have 12 12 gigabytes of RAM. So if that is nice and solid all throughout, great. You know, at the lower end of the variant, you're going to get the higher gigabytes of RAM, whereas the S22 Ultra, the lower end variant, started at 8 gigabytes of RAM. My model has the 12 gigabytes of RAM. Just off the cuff, I believe the storage is 256 gigabyte, 512 gigabyte, and then 1 terabyte of storage options on the 24 Ultra, whereas I believe the S22 Ultra started at 128 gigabytes of storage. That's where the 8 gigabytes of RAM came in. As soon as you upped it to a 256 gigabyte of storage, which is mine, then you got the 12 gigabytes of RAM. So it's a new table they're creating, which I believe does give a lot more for the money. So it's going to be worth it if you're already into your Ultras anyway and have already spent the higher end amount of money on Ultras. You are going to get more storage, I believe, to begin with, more RAM to begin with, and you're going to get improved cameras. Now, a lot of stuff has come out about the AI. They're trying to jazz that up and advertise it. Everyone's doing that now, so it does make sense, because where all phones are, at least the high-end phones are, at the hardware level, they're all very similar. Iterative design is happening because there's only so far you can push designs that have so much crammed into them. So the Ultra range in the Samsungs, for example, are big slabs. They're big phones because they've got all that screen, all that tech stuffed in there, as much battery as they can, even with a silo to fit the S Pen, which is a cool tool. I love that. So the next step, I suppose, to really innovate and change and stop being iterative is within the software and smarts. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited for this. I'm going to watch this as soon as I can, you know, as soon as it's streaming and all that. I'm sure a lot of the bigger YouTubers are, and they've got a lot more than me to talk about this. But I want to put my thoughts out there that I think it's going to be worth spending more money on this phone now than the Ultras have ever been. And if you're like me and still on the S22 Ultra, or even the 21 or 20, whatever it is, because you didn't see the point in going to the 23, I feel you there, but now the 24 is going to be worth it. The last and final change that I think is making it worth it is finally it's going to have a flat screen. So the S24 Ultra now is coming out with a bit more boxy design. So the two sides of the phone are more flat now than they used to be, because they were classically curved. Nothing wrong with that. But it's all going to be boxy now. The top and bottom are already flat on the Ultras. They're just adding that into the sides. And the screen is flat. Rejoice S Pen users, because if you're like me and you hate going over the edge, you're trying to go to the edge if you're drawing or writing and it just doesn't go right, or this just slips over because you're just pressing that a little bit too hard and it goes over the edge too quick. Flat screen S24 Ultra, perfection. I think it should have gone flat a long time ago, but they're finally doing it, and there's going to be new colours added in too, just to add that little bit of jazz and extraness. So keep tuned. When I get more information, I suppose, from other people online, when I've watched the Samsung Unpacked event, I'm probably going to talk more about this because I'm quite excited for it. So thanks for watching. If you stayed to the end, you're a gem. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and like if you enjoyed my content, this little ramble, and I hope to see you in my next one. See you soon.